on dying. I better take this blood vial I found on that dead body and jam it into my leg. Man, that can't be sanitary. I'm pretty sure I just got all the herpes. Not to mention unmatching blood types. How does that work? You know what? I really should have reconsidered this. This is Bloodborne, the newest game here to make you rage and break a controller every few minutes. And I love it. If you don't know, the Souls series of games are possibly my favorite games of all time. So for me, Bloodborne is like the second coming of the Beatles, if all of the Beatles were horrible death monsters. The game plays exactly like the Souls games. However, Bloodborne definitely concentrates more on attacking than defending. You'll use your weapons and guns to destroy tons of monsters as you constantly die your way through the labyrinth of interconnected levels trying to make your way to a boss. Then you'll throw yourself at the boss a couple dozen times until you're lucky enough to kill him. And I do say lucky, but that's not technically true. There is a certain amount of skill involved as you learn the best way to defeat each boss by trial and error. Death has always had a major part in the Souls games, and Bloodborne is no different. You will die a lot, and death is punishing. As you kill monsters, you will gather up blood echoes, which essentially act as currency for buying items and are used for leveling up. Should you die, you drop all of your blood echoes and will need to retrieve them from where you died. They might even have been picked up by a monster around where you died, so you'll have to kill the monster to get them back. But in Bloodborne, death also punishes you in a second way: excruciatingly long load times. This is my first of only two problems I have with Bloodborne. I stopped fearing death because of the loss of blood echoes and more about the 1 minute long loading times. However, this minute does provide a good buffer to let the rage settle before you throw yourself at it again. Still really long though. The level design in Bloodborne is a really good hodgepodge of all the Souls games. To me, Dark Souls 1 was pretty much the pinnacle of level design, with every area being interconnected, while Demon Souls and Dark Souls 2 was a bit more hub-based. Bloodborne takes a bit from each. There is a hub zone where you'll purchase items and level up, and where you'll teleport to different areas. But as I said earlier, making your way through each area is a challenge in itself. They are pretty much mazes with branching paths leading you to areas you probably shouldn't be at, with monsters that are way too hard for you to kill. Bloodborne really doesn't like to hold your hand. And it gets afraid of cooties. However, you will want to explore every crevice to ensure that you find all the items you can, because they are f***ing important. For example, blood vials are used to restore your health. And once again, I'm wondering why on earth you would want to jam one of these into your leg, but I'm probably thinking too much on it. You'll need bullets to use your gun, and a lot of other items can be found to upgrade your weapon or give you more blood echoes. A lot of these items are pretty much vital to your success. Not that you'll see dying countless times as success, but after you finally down that boss after the 28th attempt, well, that's a moment you'll never forget. In fact, I rank beating this guy right above the birth of my first child. Priorities, people. Now, if the game is getting too hard for you, you can summon another player to come help you by ringing the beckoning bell. This will search for another player who has rung the resonating bell, and after a significant amount of time, another person will join you who can help you through the level and assist in the boss battle. This is my second issue with Bloodborne. To summon a person to help you, you will need to use Insight, which is only gathered by killing bosses or finding a somewhat rare item. This is a pain in the ass, especially in the earlier levels. It pretty much actively discourages co-op play for a long time until you've built up quite a bit of insight. Multiplayer in Souls games has always had its ups and downs, but to me, this new system is probably the worst. However, playing with a friend has been made a bit easier. However, it still takes forever to connect to one another, still uses insight, and can be downright confusing. Chalice dungeons are a nice addition to the game, essentially giving you and a small team dungeons outside of the main area of the game to compete against. But co-op in these is still really f***ing confusing and still uses insight. Just let us play together, Bloodborne. Trust me, it doesn't make the game any easier, especially with my friends. Oh, you've gotta be kidding me. So other than the long loading times and the stupid insight system for multiplayer, the game is amazing. The combat is fluid and responsive, the setting is fantastic and immersive and sometimes downright terrifying. The weapons are also really cool and have the ability to switch in between two different modes that are really creative. The difficulty of the game is high but not cheap. And frankly, oh, hi nice old man. Whoa, shit! The moral of this story? Don't trust old people. Finally, a video on Bloodborne. I bought a PS4 for this very reason, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've also put 2 other videos for you to watch right up here, unless I was lazy. You can also follow me on Twitter for some of my random thoughts, and you can donate to me on Patreon to help out the channel like these amazing people have. I sure hope they don't turn into zombies someday and I have to kill them. But if it's anything like Bloodborne, I will.